I don't care what side of the spectrum you fall onto. You're both equally cancerous, and nothing is ever gonna change that. Now, I've talked about SJWs and maybe anti-SJWs in videos in the past. They're nothing new to the channel, but I've never dedicated a video solely to SJWs and anti-SJWs. But today's the day where I finally do that because I fucking despise both SJWs and anti-SJWs with all my fucking heart. You're both equally awful and both equally unlikable, and I just need to get my frustrations out because of how much I fucking despise both sides. So I'll be talking about SJWs first, then I'll be moving on to anti-SJWs. So, with that being said, I'm just gonna hop the fuck into it. I've always been of the mindset that you're free to believe in what you want to believe in. If you want to think something, by all means think so. If you want to have an opinion on something, then by all means, have an opinion on something. Sure, I may be an opinionated asshole, but even I can understand that other opinions exist, and you're free to believe those opinions. If you want to believe in 50,000 genders exist, then by all means do so. But when it comes to SJWs, snowflakes, fucking liberals, politically correct crowd, whatever you want to call them, the one thing I can't stand about them is when they try to force what they believe in onto others. Like I said, believe in whatever the fuck you want to believe in. That's your personal choice. But when it gets to the point where you're trying to force what you believe in onto others, and you try to force other people to follow the exact same style of life as you, that's when there's a goddamn problem. No, I do not care how many times you say I identify as an orange or you're gender fluid. I'm not going to follow what you say just because that's what you want to believe in. And the fact that there's this possibility of this becoming a law, and the fact that in states like California that the idea of a third gender is a standard there now, is terrifying. It's crazy to believe that a vocal minority such as this, because let's face it, this crowd of people is in fact a vocal minority, that only rests on the internet, and in some places in liberal states. It's crazy to think that these people, such a small percentage of humans, have the power to censor others. Like I said, you're free to believe in what you want to believe in. And the fact that in today's century, we have the power to express our opinions and our beliefs is beautiful. It's amazing. The things that we can do with technology is fucking fascinating. But when you're using that for the sake of censoring someone else, or for the sake of forcing someone else to believe in what you believe in, that's when you're crossing the line. Even with how much of an asshole I am, even I realize that there's a line you shouldn't cross when it comes to how far you're trying to push something onto others that don't care for what you're trying to push. And the worst part about this is that this political correctness that these SJWs are all about and this diversity shit, don't get me wrong, I support diversity so long as it's not forced and it feels natural and right. But when it gets to the point where diversity and again, censorship and political correctness, whatever the fuck you want to call it, is starting to invade forms of entertainment and art, that's when there's a problem. Like, why is it now whenever I'm trying to play a video game, out of nowhere I'll hear the developer of that game say, well, personally, we believe in diversity. We believe in inclusivity. And if you disagree with us, then you are a bigot and you do not deserve to play our product and you can go fuck off. No, you can go fuck off. You don't determine what I do with my money. You don't determine what I do with my life, nor the products that I buy. So go fuck yourself. Like I said, diversity's fine. But when it becomes something that's forced for the sake of being there, that's when it's an issue. And when it comes to censoring shit for the sake of censoring it because you don't want to offend anyone, that's what pisses me off. And this part is specifically directed to these companies with no balls. For those of you that don't remember, back in 2015, one of the X-Men movies was coming out. And because a male mutant was choking a female mutant, you had the SJWs coming out and saying, that's sexist towards women. You need to stop it. You fucking sexist bigot. And what does Fox do? They take down the poster and say, we never meant to offend anyone. We never meant to hurt anyone's feelings. Really? Are you so fucking spineless that you're trying to appease a minority of people that literally has no interest in the product that you make aside from it being offensive and sexist? I just don't get why these companies have to give in to such a small fucking minority. They aren't your demographic, they don't buy your shit, and if they aren't pleased, then what difference will it make? Again, it's not like they're buying your shit, so what money are you losing out on? Honestly, by trying to give into this crowd and attempting to please everyone, you please no one. By attempting to please everyone, you will make less money than you would by not attempting to please everyone. You fucking companies and corporations need to learn that you just need to focus on what you want to do and the products that you're making. Stop fucking worrying about some vocal minority that has literally no control or say. Oh wait, they do have a control and say because they fucking censor every little thing they touch and come across. And I'm sick of it. Like, mind your own damn business. Honestly. It's just irritating at this point. Sure, making fun of SJWs was a funny meme at one point, but at this point, honestly, it's just annoying and nobody fucking likes these people anymore. And the fact that this vocal minority is slowly having more and more control over what the fuck people do and what the hell happens in the world, the fact that this is the case at all is just depressing, and it's terrifying. Terrifying to think that such a small minority can completely control what happens with a company's product. And when it comes to censoring something because it offends them or because it isn't diverse enough, because of what they believe is diversity. Again, diversity is great, so long as it's done right. And while it is dumb to be edgy for the sake of being edgy, there's nothing wrong with an offensive joke every now and then so long as it fits the context of what you're making. And the fact that comedians of all people are starting to get shit for doing something that's their fucking job is just mind-boggling. And I just don't understand. I guess that's really all I have to say on SJWs. Now let me talk about anti-SJWs, because they are just as much of shitheads as these fucking SJWs are. See, the thing about anti-SJWs is that they're the literal definition of the more things change, the more they stay the same. The more they try to change themselves from being seen as just mirrored SJWs, the more they stay the same because of the way they go about things. Kind of like how SJWs complain about how offended they are, anti-SJWs get just as offended about shit. Kind of like how SJWs get offended about not enough diversity, anti-SJWs get offended about too much diversity. And even if something isn't forced when it comes to diversity, they still feel the need to be offended by it because of the fact that there's diversity to begin with. Pretty much anything I could say about anti-SJWs, I already said about SJWs. So really, all you have to do is everything that I stated about SJWs, put a little spin on it, a little twist, and apply that to anti-SJWs, and there's literally no fucking difference. These two groups of people are no different from one another. Just change the name and you get the same outcome no matter how you look at it. And you know what's really sad about anti-SJWs and SJWs? Just how passionate they are about things that offend them. It's not really even a fucking hobby, it's basically a job for them, and that's just depressing. But Crude, isn't you complaining about SJWs and anti-SJWs on the internet kind of hypocritical? Well, no, because of the context, you dumbass. See, I'm only spending time complaining about these idiots in a video, while these people are spending basically their entire lives complaining about shit. But really, all in all, they're both equally cancerous, and really, they're just a plague on society and humanity in general. And the fact that these people can have so much control through a computer screen of all things is just terrifying to think about. As great as technology is, it's just as terrifying because of the things that it can allow people to do, all with the click of a mouse. And honestly, I am terrified for the future of humanity, because if these two vocal minorities can have as much control as they please, then what the hell are they going to be able to do in 20 years' time? I really hope that all this is just a phase that humanity's going through, and then decades from now we'll look back upon these people and just laugh at them, but there's this part of me that fears that that isn't going to be the case, and what I believe is going to be the exact opposite. Fucking, I don't know what else to say, I just needed to get that all off my chest, and that's about it. That being said, that's the rant. Like, comment, subscribe, do whatever the fuck you want to do. Just support this video in any way you can. And I'll see you all next time. Until then, I'm out. Peace.